Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly excited to be your guide today as we take this fascinating biological journey into how our bodies actually process fuel. I mean, we all eat every single day, right? But have you ever stopped to think about what happens at a microscopic level after you take that very first bite? Well, today we are zooming in on carbohydrates. We're going to treat this like a masterclass in biology, tracking the exact path of our food step by step. So settle in, get ready to focus, and let's uncover the incredible machinery operating right inside of you.
Here is our agenda for today. First, the pizza carb breakdown. Then, stop 1, the mouth. Stop 2, the stomach. Stop 3, small intestine. Stop 4, large intestine. And finally, a summary. What gets absorbed?
Section 1, the pizza carb breakdown. All right, I want you to picture this. You're taking a massive bite of a hot, cheesy slice of pizza. It's absolute perfection, right? Chewy crust, savory sauce, gooey cheese. But biologically speaking, it is also absolutely packed full of fuel for your body. A lot of it in the form of carbohydrates. So, what specific types of carbohydrates are actually hidden inside that single bite? Well, let's break it down literally molecule by molecule, because this is exactly what we're going to be tracking today. First up, from the dairy in that melted cheese, you're getting a sugar called lactose. Next, from the naturally occurring sugars in the tomatoes, plus any sugar they added to the sauce, you're looking at sucrose, glucose, and fructose. For the crust, that thick, chewy flour crust, that's starch. And finally, from the flour, the tomatoes, and maybe some fresh basil sprinkled on top, you've got fiber. Those are our targets. Now, your body can't just teleport these specific carbs directly from your stomach into your bloodstream. No way. They have to pass through your gastrointestinal tract, and we are going to follow them right through these 4 distinct stops to see exactly how they get broken down. Section 2, Stop 1, the mouth. The second you start chewing that bite of pizza, digestion is already happening. Obviously, you're using mechanical digestion with your teeth to mash things up. But chemically, that's where it gets really cool. Your salivary glands release an enzyme called salivary amylase. Now, think of enzymes like tiny little molecular scissors. Notice how this specific scissor, salivary amylase, only cares about one thing, the starch in the pizza crust. It just starts snipping those long chains of glucose that make up starch into much shorter chains, including a smaller molecule called maltose. But the lactose, the sucrose, the fiber, they just hang out, totally unchanged at this stage. Section 3, Stop 2, the stomach. So you swallow, and the chewed-up pizza travels down into your stomach. Now, you might assume this is where all the intense chemical digestion happens, right? Well, actually, scratch that. For carbohydrates, that is a total myth. The stomach has a really low pH. It's incredibly acidic. And that acid is amazing for breaking down proteins and destroying bacteria, but it immediately shuts down our molecular scissors. The salivary amylase is totally inactivated. So while the stomach is doing a fantastic job mechanically blending the pizza into a liquid paste, there is practically zero chemical breakdown of carbs happening here. The carbs are basically just sitting in a transit lounge. Section 4, Stop 3, small intestine. Okay, moving on to the main event. When the stomach empties into the small intestine, the heavy lifting truly begins. Because our first set of scissors got knocked out in the stomach, the body desperately needs a backup plan to finish digesting that crust starch. Enter the pancreas. It steps up and secretes a brand new enzyme called pancreatic amylase straight into the small intestine. It perfectly picks up exactly where the mouth left off, snipping the remaining starch down into smaller chains called oligosaccharides and into maltose. But hey, we are not done yet. We still have the lactose from the cheese and the sucrose from the sauce. To tackle these, the cells actually lining the small intestine, which are called enterocytes, they take the wheel. They produce their own highly specialized suite of enzymes specifically designed to finish the job. Let's look at this new crew of enzymes one by one. First up is maltase. Maltase specifically targets the maltose we just formed from the crust starch. It snips that maltose right in half, giving us 2 individual glucose molecules. And glucose, by the way, is a monosaccharide. That's the smallest, most basic unit of a carbohydrate. Next up, we have lactase. Remember that amazing cheese on our pizza? Yep, that's where the lactose is. The lactase enzyme dives in and tackles it, splitting it apart to form 1 glucose molecule and 1 galactose molecule. Let's actually take a quick detour here, because this beautifully illustrates how this biology impacts everyday life. Have you ever wondered what happens if your body just doesn't produce enough of this specific lactase enzyme? Well, you've probably guessed it. That's lactose intolerance. Without those specific molecular scissors, the lactose from the cheese just bypasses the small intestine completely. It goes straight to the large intestine intact. Down there, it draws in water like a sponge, and gut bacteria have an absolute fermentation party with it. The result? Gas, bloating, flatulence. It is absolutely crazy how one missing microscopic enzyme leads to such completely noticeable real-world symptoms. All right, back to a fully functioning digestive tract. The final enzyme here is sucrase. Sucrase goes straight for the sucrose found in the tomatoes and the pizza sauce. It breaks that down into one glucose molecule and one fructose molecule. So let's take inventory, shall we? By the end of this entire enzymatic assembly line, we are left with just 3 basic monosaccharides: glucose, fructose, and galactose. These 3 guys are finally small enough to cross the finish line. They are absorbed right through the enterocytes lining the small intestine, and they pass directly into your bloodstream. Mission accomplished for those carbs.
Section 5, Stop 4, Large Intestine.
But wait a second, what about the leftovers? Remember the fiber from the crust, the tomatoes, and the basil? Well, human bodies literally do not have the digestive enzymes to break down fiber. We just don't make the scissors for it. So it coasts right through the small intestine, completely undigested, and arrives totally intact right here in the large intestine. There is no enzymatic breakdown happening here either. It just passes through. But as we're going to see in a second, it definitely doesn't go to waste.
Section 6, Summary. What gets absorbed?
All right, we made it all the way down the GI tract. Let's pull this all together. Think of this as your mental screenshot for the day. How did the body handle every single carb type we just discussed? Monosaccharides, like the raw fructose in the tomatoes. Are they digested enzymatically? No, they are already tiny enough to absorb exactly as they are. Disaccharides, like the lactose in the cheese. Yep, they get digested by specific enzymes like lactase and broken into individual components. Polysaccharides, like the complex starch in the crust. Oh, absolutely digested. It took a massive team effort from amylase and maltase to chop that all the way down into simple glucose. And finally, fiber. Is it enzymatically digested? No, we don't have the tools, so it is not absorbed into our bloodstream.
And there's one incredibly crucial final step to all of this. Once we absorb glucose, fructose, and galactose into the bloodstream, they head directly to the liver. And what the liver does is just remarkable. It converts all that fructose and galactose directly into glucose. The liver makes sure that once these carbs enter general circulation in your body, glucose is the primary universal carbohydrate fuel circulating in your blood, perfectly primed to power your brain and your muscles.
Before we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final kind of mind-blowing thought. We said that the fiber from our pizza arrives in the large intestine undigested. But it's not useless. You have literally trillions of bacteria living down there, your gut microbiota, and they actually ferment that leftover fiber to feed themselves. And in return, they produce compounds that our body can actually use, boosting our immune response and keeping us healthy. So when you eat a meal with fiber, you aren't just feeding your own cells. You are literally feeding an entire microscopic ecosystem living inside of you. Pretty incredible, right? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you never look at a slice of pizza the exact same way again. Keep learning, keep